Hey Matthew, how you doing, man? Give me 1 second, guys. GMB Pros, thank you everyone for that's here live. Matthew, Will, I appreciate you guys. Those that will catch the replay, um, I appreciate you guys. Let me make sure. And Drew will not be here. He's actually had to take a flight, an unexpected trip. He had a little emergency, so he will not be on here. But he did say we'll continue in a couple weeks on the part two of the sales. I think he had a great session the last time we were here. Broke down questions, the thought behind it, the nurturing the call. That way the client is preconditioned to buy by the time they got here or they get to your actual call and you have some information that they pre-qualify themselves. So I definitely would recommend you guys watching that. So if you have any particular questions as far as sales, please don't hesitate. We can dive in here, even though they're not showing it. I can cover what I covered today with this gal. That's why I was a little bit late. So I thank you guys for your patience. One of the things that I strongly would suggest, guys, is the niching down. Dino is another replay that I would highly recommend. William always spoke on this. It's probably one of the first things he talks about after your goals is setting up and dialing in your Facebook. And that's what this gal had done. She was diving into plumbers and she's killing it, guys. And she just starting off from zero. But what I mean by killing is she's doing a lot of presentations, a lot of people. She's diving in through ads. She's diving in through her website. And that's on mainly BMI groups and some LinkedIn. Those are for her four, and she is staying busy. She's helped getting me to help her with some reviews. We did a review for her to show to her clients the importance of GMB and how that works. But so niching down has been a huge turning point for me. It's a big focus right now, especially coming from agency, seven-figure agency that really talk about that. And if you really think about it and have that abundant mindset, it helps as far as, look, you got to figure out the ad for one niche. You're speaking to one person, because if you're talking to everybody, you're not really talking to anybody, right? So definitely helps with the messaging, your Q&A, not your Q&As, but your case studies, your social proof is to one person. I think it's huge, huge, huge that you guys will be able to dial in your own marketing as far as that. So guys, one thing that I would suggest, I did a niching down, the importance of that. Dino just did a Facebook optimization. I would definitely would take it that. And then Drew did a qualifying questions as far as nurturing the client before they get onto your Zoom link. Those three things I would definitely would recommend to help you close more sales, to help you navigate through that and speaking to more people to get your calendar full. And you can literally have about 300, and take a look at the um, GMB pros we just did with Dino. Take a look at the one that Drew did about 2 weeks ago. Uh, and with those alone there, you guys should be able to, and then niching down. I did one on niching down. And of course, if you go back a little bit further, is how to leverage William Jones marketing to just stay focused on your calendar and filling up your calendar. Um, and just do the sales part, polish that part, and you have help for fulfillment, especially if you charge enough that you leave enough meat on the bone to white label it, to partner up with other people. Man, and you just focus on filling up your calendar, those presentations, getting the right questions to that particular niche. I see seven figures easily in your future as far as the sales. So I don't know if Moses, Will, you guys had any particular questions specifically on sales. Again, Drew had an emergency. He's had to travel, but I would love to dive in. This is one of my favorite subjects as I'm growing my experience as how I grew to this point. Um, I would love to share that with you and just take it from my perspective. I'm no expert, but I can tell you what I did and how it's helped me, how William has helped me throughout um, my journey and my process to get where I'm at. Um, One of the things that I'm learning, and we heard William say it before, and I'm really seeing it now, is guys, document your process, have those steps ready, whatever you do, especially that way you can just stay focused on sales. And then if it's white labeling through William Jones, is it your VAs, whatever that may, that if you can just pop it into that assembly line and they know step by step what that needs to be done for you to be whatever you're doing to be world class, that you have those steps that if you put it on step one, by the time they get to step 10, exactly what the results are, that's going to be huge. That's something I'm learning now that I could have done better as far as, but doing the presentation, doing sales, that should be your main focus. Two things: producing content to that particular niche and sales phone calls. That's it. The rest you can white label out, you can put out to VAs. So I'm not sure, Matthew, if you have any questions, if you disagree, if you agree, feel free to pitch in. Will, feel free to pitch in, as far as what I'm saying or where you guys are at.
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, yeah.
Uh, yeah, so Matthew here, and as a part of the sales, I think a big uh a hurdle that a lot of agency owners come across is when it comes to not only organic conversion tracking, because they don't just want to see the stats and the graphs going up, right? They want to see how many phone calls are coming in, how many lead forms are coming in. And there's a lot of different softwares that can be integrated between each other. And, it's almost seems unlimited, right? And you want to get the most flashy report to give your client, and you want the conversions to be accurate. Um, I'd like to get into that, and if Will has anything to add as well. But I see a lot of agency owners, and I would almost say spoofing conversion rates, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge thing, and it takes a little bit of intellect, study time, all that to actually know what these conversions mean, what the different styles are, and what reports to package them up in order to send to the client. And you want
Yeah.
to be accurate, and I think that's a big hurdle. What is accuracy? What are the best platforms to use? How do you integrate the best platforms together? And how do you know that you're accurate? Because a lot of us think we're accurate, but when it comes to Google ads or anything like that, it, I mean, you could just go haywire, right? So
Mhm.
I think that's very interesting. I don't know if you have any perspectives on that, but as far as sales go, I think that's a very important thing. And being
Yeah.
ethical, I think you got to know you're accurate. So
100%. And that's a learning that right there, what you're saying is something that I learned recently. And I'll tell you the example and I'll lead up to that point. Let me tell you the story. So it's no secret. I'm GMB. I wanted to rank GMB and I got prolific at that world class, be able to rank GMBs. But I sold like, hey, GMB, I'm going to green you out. And I came to the realization, the exact same thing you said. They don't really care about this or that or this or that, right? Some of them, um, I was just speaking to Brett about this. I don't know what your niche is, but if you keep, for example, we'll just pick lawyers. If we keep the lawyer in court, he'll never bug you. He'll never want that report. A lot of times, if you keep these people busy, that what you're saying about reporting is really never an issue. So that's like one thing that I learned because I would green them out, right? I would green them out, but they would come back like, Alfred, I'm not getting phone calls. So that's where I had to switch my thinking in my philosophy or theory is like I had to stop selling the green grids. I had to stop selling the organic and the backlinks and the on page. Is that important? 100% it is. But at the end of the day, they don't care about none of that stuff unless they're getting phone calls. So like, what do I use now, for reporting? One, some tracking numbers. Number two is I use Google itself, as far as like in the GMB, how many calls that they're getting. Keep it in mind if you're not CTRing or manipulating that, right?
Mhm.
Like I spoke to
Like,
Brett, his case was lawyers. You want to be increasing those like 5, 10, 15% every month. You want to see that go up. And you never want to be caught surprised. You should know exactly, you should be tracking that exactly. So I
mhm,
keep mine simple, Matthew. I use the back end of the Google My Business. I do use heat maps. You guys will see them on my Facebook. You know, we do use that. But at the end of the day, I have clients right now that I haven't spoken to in months. I had a client that even went on to like a year because literally we would just keep him busy. He didn't care. So you almost want to make that a non-issue. Now, for those that do want to be communicated, I just keep mine simple, Matthew, to be honest with you. Depending on your niche, I use Google itself. There is some reportings out there, and I set those up and I let my VA do it. He knows
mhm,
every month. My guys know, bam. And then be, like you said, an honest report, right? And I call it, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Hey, Matthew, this is where we're killing it. This is where we're doing okay. And Matthew, hey, we're struggling or we dropped the ball right here. And clients, what I find, don't mind that, but what are we doing about it? So I
right.
just do the good, the
Yeah.
bad, and the ugly. I use Google itself. So for like the website for the SEO, yeah, I just show them that their keywords, they're getting more of them, that their rankings are moving up.
Mhm.
Okay. Because the whole idea on that is to give them the opportunity. So when somebody searches lawyer, plumber, that they pop up, right? Because I fell into that whole trap of, yeah, I green you out. So what, Alfred? I'm not getting any phone calls. Like,
Mhm.
shit, you're right. You know,
I mean,
uh,
how hardcore is your reporting going? Like one of the more complicated things that I've learned recently is using the GA4, right? And setting up all those triggers, all of those, all the actions, right? So to actually organically track the phone calls that are coming from the organic site,
mhm.
separating that from their paid ads conversions, and then you also get the client questions that are a little harder to answer, I think. Um, Say like one is that I'm still a little confused about myself is when client goes to their GMB dashboard, right? And
Mhm.
they're looking at their calls. Is that clicks on call, or does that include traffic coming to the website from the GMB, say knowledge panel, right? They click on website, they go to the website and they make a call. Is that included in the calls that are tracked within the GMB dashboard
No,
or
so
no?
the
Like,
GMB call tracking that you see, it's
mhm.
from the GMB itself, the knowledge panel, the
Just the clicks
maps.
on call.
Yes, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah,
Yeah.
because essentially those are two different SERPs. So you have
Mhm.
the organic website and then you have the maps. So those are two different
I just wonder if they track, so you've got the organic website shown in the SERPs under the map pack, right?
mhm.
Of course, if they go to that website organically, it's not going to track it through the GMB.
It will. It will.
Well,
You
like from okay, so let's say we got a GMB knowledge panel, right?
mhm.
But also in the SERPs, blue lined in the SERPs. Maybe the GMB isn't even in the map pack or the panel. Maybe you got a really good landing page for a city location page, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
And they go there, they find it just blue lined in the SERPs. There's no GMB involved. They go there, they make a call, right? It's not going to be recorded within the GMB dashboard,
Right.
right?
Correct.
Now, if they find the GMB and they click on website, because you got call, you got website, you got message. Maybe you have a book now if you have some booking software connected to the GMB,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So they can click any of those. Now, if they click the call, of course, it's going to be tracked. They're going to count it as a call. But if they go to the website through the GMB, right? You're on the knowledge panel for the
Yep.
GMB. They go to the website. Is there some kind of, are they tracking a call from the actual website? So they leave the GMB, but they go to the website through the website that's linked into the GMB,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And now they're on the website making a call. Does that add into that 150 calls that you're seeing in the GMB dashboard when you look at the call metrics, right?
Yeah.
So you click to
So
call,
yeah,
yeah.
a couple of things. One, that click, let's say from the knowledge panel, let's say they click the website, that
Mhm.
click is recorded. That's on the GMB side. Once they hit the website, you can track it on the Google Search Console, like where that came from. And you can
Right.
do what is it, UTM
Hmm.
code that
Yep.
way. And you almost every time you set that up so you can track it, because that UTM code, you give it a source, you give it a medium name, so you can put, like, if somebody clicks website from the GMB, that the
Mhm.
Google Search Console says, hey, you can name it GMB, and you'll see it on the other side, as far as like, okay, this is the call, these are the clicks you got from the website. And then if they click call from the website, obviously that will also be tracked. And you kind of can correlate the two together that way.
I just wonder, like, so I think that's an important measure to track for anybody that's selling, say if you were specifically selling GMB services, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Anybody that goes to the website within what's inherently reported within the GMB dashboard, right? Just naturally, no extra setup. You're not connecting anything. You're not using the UTM codes, anything like that, right? As a specific hypothetical GMB only manager, right? That's your
Mm-hmm.
service. You're only able to present without any extra setup the clicks to the website metric, right?
Yeah.
Whatever the client say, they didn't have an agency that set up a GMB, they're still going to get it in a dashboard, and they didn't set anything up. They're still going to see the calls.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to see the directions to the business. If they got a physical address, they're going to see the message requests. They're going to see clicks to the website. But as a specific GMB manager, you're going to lose all those phone calls if you don't do that extra setup work, right?
Yeah, one hundred
And you're
percent.
losing out on that's a big, hey, you got to click. Well, did I get a call? Coming down to, what we were initially talking about. They just want, if they do demand to see any kind of tracking and they want to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're not just going off the gut feeling of the cell phone ringing. They want to see those phone calls. And
Yeah.
it's like, I think that's a big hurdle for a lot of agencies to cross, is to properly track everything and to even know that that's a feature of, uh, really exhibiting your skill set with ranking a GMB, right?
Yep. Yep. 100%. Yeah, you're
And
100%.
it's still confusing to me myself, and I've been, studying into this stuff for a long time. So, you know, um, I think it's a big topic of discussion and relates to sales as well, you
Yeah,
know.
absolutely. Especially that reporting, it's tracking, because like you can set up like tracking within yourself, where you're checking daily, weekly, whatever the case may be, because you never want to be caught behind the eight ball from your
Mhm.
client. You should already know your client is not doing good, and then proactively trying to get them that turned around before the end of the month. Or if you're struggling, you kind of know. Like William will do this. We'll do our basic stuff, and then he'll look at the overall picture. Who's not ranking? We literally have this whole thing. Who's not ranking? Then he'll look in there and see, hey, okay, they got the content right, they got this right, they got that right. Oh, we're missing it here. Okay, like, and he'll put energy and effort into it without really telling the customer anything, especially if we can influence it. But if it's the best practices are not done, and in our case, in this example that we're talking about, is that extra step to make sure that we track it, to make sure we plug it in, to make sure we optimize the GMB for those clients that do want to know, hey, what am I paying you $1,000, $1,200, $1,500 for? Like, okay, this is what you're paying me for. Boom, 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 boom. And then you can also see in the back end, like whose fault it really is. Like, hey, you're not answering your phone,
Mhm.
right? So
Yeah.
I'll give you a perfect example. I had a tattoo shop. Man, that guy was like, hey, I'm not getting calls, or I want them from this particular area. And then literally in the back end of the GMB, it shows, yeah, he's getting calls, and over 50% of those calls were not getting answered. And that's
Mhm.
from people just clicking on the GMB itself, right? Um, so that's why I keep it simple. That's why I keep it really nice and easy, especially with the messages, the Q&As. Um, but it's those phone calls month after month that I find that no matter who the niche is, because I've been in those shoes, like, man, I green them out, they're not getting phone calls. Like, shoot, what do
Mhm.
we know? What do we do? Right. And that's where I learned, like, be when you niche down, play in all the four pillars: the website, the GMB, ads, and like what I call customer service, reviews, email marketing, social media. I put all that into that one. Because here's the thing, Matt. You cannot, your GMB or your website, if you don't put those together, let's say all those four pillars are 25% of their marketing working. Your 25% cannot be responsible for their 100% of their marketing. So that's when we have to, like, hey, I'm doing my part, but what are
Yeah,
you doing for ads? We're not. Why not? And now it doesn't mean we have to do Facebook ads or YouTube, or not, I'm sorry, Google ads. I mean, you can get creative, next
Mhm.
door, you can do Boost, you can do Craigslist. I've had success with plumbers on Craigslist ads, right? And it doesn't
Mhm.
have to be like the gal that I just spoke with. They spend $60,000 on Google ads, right? And they're
Mhm.
getting three
And
times
they're
that,
not spending the $5 once a week to get on
right?
Craigslist,
But
right?
everybody's
Yeah.
different though, right? But
Mhm.
as long as you do something in that pillar,
Mhm.
now you can say, okay, and then you can kind of see, okay, where are we going off of? Where are we falling short? Do we need to up it? Or the goal is that maybe that $5, man, I got 2, 3, 4 jobs out of it, right? Now you can put more into it, right? Because I'm sure the plumber didn't start off at 60,000,
Mhm.
right? But
Yeah.
in fact, his website sucks. Like, all the best practices are not there. There's nothing me or William can do to make his SEO rank if the basics are not done, right? And then Harry is a big, and I learned this even the hard way. Like, you got to play in all four pillars. You got to take the GMB, the website, play in the ads, right? And then the other pillar, customer service, review, social media. But back to your question, as far as like how to report back to customers, yeah, I keep it simple. There's a lot of stuff out there. Just find one that speaks to you, find one that your KPIs are what matters to the customer. And I just find, like, get a VA or get a software that collects all that for you. And you want to track phone calls, you want to track website visits, you want to track rankings. Because the idea in theory is the higher you are, I still, even though I don't push it, I still, for example, I have a locksmith. He is not number one, but he's doing better than the other. He's doing better with me than the other guy. He did improve, but he's not number one, and he's getting phone calls. He's like, Alfred, I'm getting phone calls. I'm getting jobs. You're doing better than the last guy. I'm cool with it. I know it's a hard niche,
Right.
because you'll find
Yeah.
people like that they understand it. But it's just, yeah, keeping it simple. Um, William's about to offer like leads, and part of that is having a follow-up sequence, having like a customer, CMR, right? All right, CRM, right?
Mhm.
That you can
Yeah.
track and nurture them, where they at. And with that, you also, again, I'm learning that now, is track your process, get a project manager as well. So once you get them, you can plug them in, they know the assembly, they know the steps. And part of that is reporting. Part of that is customer service, touching them. Hey, I done this, I done this, I've done this. That's been
Mhm.
huge in my business for retention, and follow up. Um, Man, Matthew, I don't know if I answered your question specifically what software. I know we're starting to dive in with William Jones Marketing into Go High Level. It is a pain in the ass. It's hard to learn, but once you
Yeah,
got it set up, and
yeah.
in theory, you don't need to use Go High Level. All you need is a follow-up sequence, a nurturing one. Um, when those ads come in, are you replying to them quickly? You
Mhm.
know, um, those three things, right? A follow-up sequence, like a nurturing sequence, a touching point when that lead comes in, and some type of newsletter because you want to manage these. That's part of your sales, and the other side of things, customer service touching them, and that reporting. I just keep it
Well, I
simple.
think as a part of sales, like, we could keep it simple, but say if you start tackling bigger clients where you're in the 2,500, 5,000 a month club, right?
Hmm.
And you're kind of you're handling their marketing, but you also are niche down. You understand the niche.
Hmm.
Maybe you even own a niche business that is that niche, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
As a part of, maybe that's where you come from as far as the marketing goes. Maybe you did
Yep.
good with your own business and now you're a marketer because you're good at what you do
Yep.
and you're offering it to other, same niche business owners. When you get into that higher, revenue type of client, uh, and you're running the email marketing, the Google ads, the Facebook ads, and you're also doing the organic SEO, you know, it comes down to the point where, hey, we've got all these thousands of dollars going into this. We're doing all these different things. And yeah, I'm busy, but where do I want to trim the fat, right?
Yes.
What's working, what's not working, because we could do a million different things. What about my time going out and talking to other businesses on the ground, trying to get commercial work? What's coming from that? What's coming from the Google ads? What's coming from the SEO, right? So if you can
Yep.
break that down and report that with the whole intention of being able to sell better, I think that's what's going to, like, hey, client for client, you can have 100 low paying clients or five really, really good paying clients, but you've mastered the tracking for all these different
Gotcha.
platforms that
Yeah.
they're
I'm
using.
picking up what
You're
you're
helping
putting
them
down.
trim the fat. And I think
Hmm.
it's so important because now you've got 90% less headache and you're doing 100% better work for the clients. And I think that'll just naturally grow from there. And I think it really
Absolutely.
does come down to tracking in relation to sales. And the tracking, it's hard, to get all this together without, you can't just use the website and use crazy call rail numbers or call tracking metrics numbers all over the website, messing up the NAP across the board, right? Facebook's this is this is this. Now you got your phone number's messing up the NAP, right? How do we get through this, categorizing every type of platform that we're charging client, marketing services for, um, without messing up the NAP, for instance? I think that's just a big, we don't got to answer that right now. I'm just bringing it up
Right.
as an interesting topic of discussion in relation to sales. I think it's so important.
Yeah. 100.
I don't know if
Yeah.
anybody here has anything to add to that, but I'm really on the tracking train. Like it's, big, part of what I think about day to day. So,
Yeah. What niche are you in, Matt? Or if you want, you're not
junk
gonna.
removal, dumpster rental, tree
Beautiful.
service, and landscaping specifically.
Beautiful. Yep. Yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Man,
Yep.
that's cool to hear. Um, yeah. So I'll dive into that because as far as my experience, where I can take you, I don't. I'm not a big software guy. Again, that's something that I'm learning. I should have dialed in a lot better.
Me and you both, bro.
Yeah.
Like as these niches get more competitive, us as marketers need to also get more competitive, and I think that's one of the cutting edges that are coming up.
Hmm. Hmm.
The logo guys, they're gonna go. Good luck if you're a logo guy because you can create 4 logos in like 10 seconds right now. So you know Those guys they're going to go probably to SEO. They're going to try to learn some Google ads. It's just going to get, steeper and harder and push us all to do better.
Mhm.
But there are some things that are more complex that if we put our time towards and really figure that out, it's just going to, set us apart.
Yep.
Big topic.
Absolutely. And I think it makes it easy too for the case study. I think it makes it easy for you for posting on Facebook, your case
Hmm.
studies, your social proof, like bam, look. In fact, it's funny you say that because one of the questions this marketer had is, Alfred, do you have case studies? Man, it was so easy for me to go to Facebook, look at my posts, look at my images, and just look at for my maps. Here's one, here's one, here's one, here's one. You know,
Hmm. Yeah.
it just kind of speaks like if we have that dialed in, that
Hmm.
particular software, and I think all these different softwares, all these different platforms, I think that's how Go High Level really stamped its footprints because there, I think one of the messages, and I could be totally wrong, but everything I heard about Go High Level was we replaced this, we replaced 5 other softwares into one.
Same. Yeah, I've
You know,
heard
and it's
nothing
like,
but good things.
you
Yeah.
know, but
Mhm.
once I got into it, I kid you not, man, I opened the thing and I closed the thing, called them cancel because it was so complicated.
Just yeah. I mean,
It's,
what do you? Yeah,
you know,
I,
well,
I
for
get it.
me, right?
Yeah.
I'm not the techie guy, but I know there's agencies that their
Hmm.
niche is go high level and
Hmm.
they charge more than SEO because
Yeah.
once it's dialed in, man, it's a money making machine. It's a good tracker. It's a good, like you can pull your case study. Everything is in one spot. It does replace a lot of
Hmm.
things by numbers. Are they perfect? Absolutely not. But name me one that is, right?
Right.
You know, could they use other things that they don't have? Absolutely. But I think, just because William himself is dialing that portion of it, that's why it's a top of mind right now, especially with the sequence warmer, nurturing one. And then when the calls come in, that we hit them right away with it, right? Because it's all about speed and having that automated. Because, like you said, you can automate like 5 logos in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Literally, I just spoke to my buddy Adams. He has this thing on ChatGPT and a plugin that he produced me 3 cool looking logos like in you're right, like 5 minutes. I'm talking about some nice ones.
Yeah.
Now, my point to that is, I forgot my point when I was going with that. Oh yeah, that like having like that particular piece of software so automation happens and because that's the whole thing, like how I came. You want to focus on sales and content. So, like with me and William, all his focus is to help get better results for us and the process. I help the customer service, the GMB calls, right? And it's just putting puzzles together so you can focus on your area of genius. And then,
I'm listening. I'll be right back, bro.
okay, yeah,
I got 4 of them coming into my office right now.
gotcha.
Little
Yeah,
ones.
yeah. So, having that focus, for that piece of software that takes care of all of that, especially on automation, or if you need it for a particular client for reporting, that you have that handy. But yeah, I keep mine pretty simple, and that's definitely with the process. Yeah, getting those pieces dialed in is huge for your social proof, for case studies, for reporting back to the client, so you have one spot to go your go-to for that, if that makes sense. Harry, what's going on, man? Everything good?
Just saw your link. I saw you are on a Zoom.
Oh, okay,
That's
okay.
why I connected a little late.
No worries. I see
Yeah.
you have your white shirt. I take it you were out working.
Yeah, I just came. Yeah, I came from Pasadena.
Got it.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, guys. So with that said, we're coming up to the 45-minute mark, guys. We're gonna go ahead and call it. Hopefully this little open combo was useful to you. Um, pick up some nuggets. Again, all about sales. And Matthew brought up a great point. Hey, you're tracking your one software where you can track everything honestly with integrity, true, right? And keeping track, yeah, you want to track your ads that they're producing correctly. You want to track, your rankings, but like what's important to the customer, that phone calls, right? Phone calls, phone calls, phone calls. Is that coming in? Is that increasing with time? And of course, you want to do the ranking. Of course, you want to do the GMB and the website and the ads and some social. Of course, you do. But at the end of the day, I think the client, your agency, is all based on results. No matter where we're at in our journey, it's all based on results. And I think we'll grow, especially if we're niching down, figuring out one ad, figuring out the messages on your Facebook and YouTube, whatever social platform that you got. So, guys, with that, again, I'm just going to recap here real quick. Dial in your process so you can just focus on sales and filling up your calendar. So either you white label with William Jones or your VA, that they have the steps that they need to do to get world-class results. Get whatever reporting systems, like Matthew was saying, dialed in early, and just build it up, with those clients so you can get access to easy reporting, calls, ads, where they're coming from, website rankings, all that jazz. And niche down. Look at Drew's from 2 weeks ago about sales calls and qualifying customers. Dino, how to get 300 warm leads into your funnel just through Facebook. It costs you nothing but time. And my niching down, those 3 things that I would recommend. And from today's call, guys, go high levels at top of mind because it's replacing a lot of stuff for us right now. But if that's not, you don't need to go high level. You don't need the biggest go high level, but you definitely want to, when a lead comes in, that you respond to it right away type of trigger, a nurturing sequence, like also, stay on top of mind, I guess it could be nurturing, but like I call it more of like a newsletter. So you stay on top of mind with these clients if they're not ready to go with you or they don't meet your requirements. Some type of system where you can get that and going for you on automation. So kind of, the recap for you guys today. I appreciate those that are on here, on the live, those that are on Facebook Live. I appreciate you guys, those that are catching the replay. And with that said, guys, much love, much success, and I'll see you on the next one.
Take care, man. Thanks.
All right, Matthew. Thank you.
Guys. Thank you.